Hello everybody, this is going to be a tutorial video. I want to help you to see things the way they're supposed to be, because everything is backwards, reversed, mirrored, turned upside down. We come into this world upside down. I've done hundreds of videos on this topic, so I'm going to kind of move through it pretty quick. As children, we're taken in kindergarten, first grade, second grade, at least when I grew up, some very unusual practices. First, we wore penny loafers. They put pennies in our shoes. They took our first pair of shoes and they bronzed them. And this seems to be a recurring pattern that happened to a particular generation. They also would test us as children, and they gave us books like Highlights and shows like Sesame Street. And you search a word and you find a word and you find the things that are hidden in the drawn pictures. Do you remember all of that? Because this would really be easier for me to teach to children than it is to teach to you, because you've been programmed. I'm going to show you what they've done to you. This is a clock, right? Why is 12 at the top? If 1 comes first, shouldn't it hold the top position? Okay? I want you to listen to what I'm saying right here. Why does we go from the top down over the right to the bottom and you go left back to the top? Why do we go around this way? Now the zodiac, because it's exactly the opposite. Okay? The zodiac, which I find really interesting, because I've always wondered, why is the coldest month of the year, basically January, Capricorns, why is it at the top? Doesn't the height of the sun should be in the summer? It should be at the top. It seems like this zodiac right here would work better below the hemispheres. Now let's talk about hemispheres, because that's the big news here. It's NEWS. It's north, east, west, and south. And it has a lot to do with the Bible, and the languages. And I'll get to that in a minute, because it's the word headquarters. Now, I found it very interesting that there's actually theheadquarters.com. You can go look at that for yourself. But Wikipedia, we basically understand headquarters is where you got to report to, right? The show Get Smart, he had to go to headquarters, and that's called the HQ. Well, the word headquarters itself means the head is quartered into 4 parts: north, east, south, and west. They done it to the zodiac. They call them the solstice, the summer and winter solstice, and the spring and fall equinox. Okay? Equinologist is actually what that word means. Now the clock. What they've done to us with this, because we learned this one this way, and because we learned this one this way, we really don't know how to see it all. Everything's upside down and messed up. The zodiac here, it should be sitting, if you want to call the winter solstice the top mount, then that's the South Pole that they're telling us is the North Pole, right? Do you understand what I'm saying to you? Can you see through this? Take the eyes of a child. Go back into those highlight books. Go back into those little word games you used to play, because it's all about this. Number 1. Watch this. How many of you have ever heard of this? I'm not very good at this on this one. You ever heard of this word, Pig Latin? Ude, uye, ise, ixpe, igpe, atenle. How many of you can speak Pig Latin? Why were we taught this as children? Because to speak Igpe, you take the first letter and you put it at the end. So it's I, G, P, and then they say A. Or we generally add a Y in English to make that A long. Igpe. And you do the same thing, and it's A, T, I, Aten, Lay. Igpe, Aten, Lay. Why do we do that? Because that's what they've done. There's a enigmatic statement that's kind of made throughout a lot of religious text. It's not just in the Bible, it's in the Gnostic text, and you'll find it in many religious texts around the world, that when God claims to have wrote the book, that he'll tell you, I wrote the beginning from the end. And that's what this means. Beginning from the end. Alright? So I want to put a proposal to you about the order of the books in your Bible. And the head is quartered. Our head is cut into 4 quarters. I'm trying to understand this myself, and I don't want to. I'm getting asked for a lot of zodiac videos, and I understand the whole purpose of what I'm trying to do here is to show you what's wrong with the zodiac. Okay? You can go on Stellarium and look for yourself. You can go out in the night sky and look for yourself. And they're really, you're right here. But to really find yourself, you have to go 2 places, within and up. Because, and then you can define, you have to have 3 points, a point in time and a point in space and a certain object, to where those 3 meet together in a triangle, and you can say, I am here. So they've taken our head, our zodiac, our clocks, everything, and done this to it. And they control it. They are the HQ, the headquarters. That's the 817, and 8 and 1 and 7 is 8, so I call it the Crazy 88. They're at headquarters. That's in Kill Bill. I forget which one. Kill Bill 1, I do believe, where she goes to Japan and she's got to fight O-Ren. Is she a he? And the Crazy 88, which is Orion. Is he a she? And the Crazy 88. After she kills Verna Green. And all this has meanings. So, you need to decide. We need to make a decision. I mean, if we want to say we live on the South Pole, we need to turn the zodiac upside down. Something's got to be done, and it needs to, each person has to do it for yourself, because you were born at a certain place in time. You appeared in a certain location on this planet. Well, this planet's got many locations now because they keep dividing this thing. This is what headquarters has done. They've just fractaled us and spread us out and webbed us out and put grids over us to, we don't know who we are, where we are, or why we are here anymore. But I'm going to tell you what, they do. They know exactly. That's why they gave each of us a number. Okay? And I'll talk some more about numbers and what they did with the numbers too. But in the languages, to understand what you're reading, you actually have to understand. You don't even have to know the languages. You just have to know the order of the alphabet. Now in Greek, which the Bible's actually written in, it's Alpha, Beta, Gamma, Delta. But if we go by the Bible, the oldest, before Greek, there was the Persian or the Arabic. So there, and Hebrew. So theirs is Aleph, Beth, Dalet, Gimel. So that's really disturbing right there that these two changed places, because it's a big connection between the word God and the word dog. 34:43. If you start throwing the gematria down on that. Now when we move into the English, which has been laid on us, we got the A, the B. They just totally got rid of the G, moved him, put a fictitious letter that don't even fucking exist in there, and then moved the D back to the Greek position, Delta Quadrant, right? Delta Quadrant's the fourth quadrant, the Delta Squad. So you got to know your zone. You got to know where you're at to know where you need to get. And it's probably if your life is not working for you, it's probably just the opposite of where you've been at, because of the difference between the zodiac and the clock, and just the way your brain thinks. Now, this has everything to do with what I've been telling you about in 2020. This is the big news, because the letters in the alphabet have been so interchanged, and I've proven this, the D and the T, alright? Those letters are interchangeable. So when you say Latin, you can say Ladin, Aladdin, Aladdin's lamp, even. But it has to do with the ID and the identity and how they want to number us and give us all an ID. And while we're all walking around going, well, who am I? Well, why am I here? Well, what am I supposed to be doing? And they've got us all so confused, and it's called your id. Now I'm going to take you back to the 70s again, maybe early 80s. They gave us movies called The Forbidden Planet. Remember Robbie the Robot? And they went to the Forbidden Planet, and while they were asleep, confused, they didn't understand, they had these monsters of the id that they would have to come wake you up, because these monsters you were dreaming about were actually manifesting, coming to life, and they were the darkness on the planet. They didn't know how to use the power. Well, that's kind of what's going on with us. When we hit 2020, you're going to have Jupiter and Saturn, with Jupiter is space, Saturn represents time. Well, that it they've been telling us about is you, and it's Pluto, and it comes into the mix in the sign of the goat, right up here at the top of the clock, where they want you to believe it's at the top of the clock. Okay, so when we get there, don't take me there, I didn't ask to go there. The Saturn, Jupiter, and the door to the lodge, two lodges, there are two doors, and it's going to open up to the back of your mind, which is your subconscious, and your subconscious is going to meet the veils coming down, and either you are going to be engulfed in darkness, or you are going to be engulfed in light, but you're fixing to meet your twin. Why did I show you all them clips from 420 Proto Man? They tell you it's all about Twin Peaks. Well, let's play some pig Latin there. Let's take the first letter and move it to the beginning. Remember me telling you, to be a King Arthur, you got to pull the sword from the stone. You got to pull the words from the tones. So, the id, the other part of you, it's your twin. Remember me telling you about the egg in the womb? If you're a boy, the female part of you had to die for you to live. You're going to meet the other half of yourself, and then you will become whole, because they've quartered your mind. The way you think, the way you see, the way you understand. So you don't know shit. You don't know which way to go, which way is up. You look down and pray to the ground when you've been told, look up. Your redemption comes from up there, not from on your knees. They've had you on your Capricorns, on your knees. They got your goat. She's your cardinal earth. That's the cardinal earth sign. That's why each of you have to know yourselves for yourself. Stellarium is free, but you have to look at this with the understanding of a child. And I mean literally, throw away everything you thought you fucking knew, because they have lied about everything. This has all been pulled off by NASA, NASA. Never a straight answer. You gotta look around the corners, because this is a cricket game.